All right, guys, I am back from YCS Orlando, and today I'm going to do a tournament report. I do this after all the major events, Ultimate Time Wizard Tournament and RBTs. So I'm just going over how things play out in the event, the deck I use, and how my weekend went. So first we're going to start off. This was like one of the largest Ultimate Time Wizard / RB, basically one of the largest Edison tournaments. We had like 280 players, which is huge. Now, one thing I want to mention is this one was probably one of the most disorganized Ultimate Time Wizard tournaments. I'm going to start with a few complaints. So we started really late, and I think it's because maybe this convention center the room wasn't that big, and maybe they didn't expect 2,200 players for the main event. So that's why when we just didn't have room. They started the Ultimate Time Wizard really late. That's why they actually only had 7 rounds day 1 and 2 rounds day 2, which normally doesn't happen. What else did I want to bring up? And yeah, we still don't have a clock for Ultimate Time Wizard, which is an issue. Also, whenever they were trying, the judges were trying to explain, they need to buy a megaphone because there's usually one guy with like a small megaphone and trying to talk to 280 players. It's rough. They need to pay for a larger megaphone. Anyways, and then one more complaint is for the finals, like they didn't even take them. Usually, the past few Ultimate Time Wizards, when you're in the finals, they at least give us a feature match. Can we at least get that? Because when I won my Ultimate Time Wizard, the first one, I actually got a feature match, and I can always go back and reread it. But they're not even getting a feature match, and not getting filmed. Obviously, maybe they shouldn't stream it. I kind of agree with that. But at least a feature match, a YouTube video, something. And like they didn't even take them to the back this time. They just let them play the finals out and where in one of the tables, and it's just I don't know. I didn't like it, how this one was run. That's just my 2 cents there. And now let's go over the top 8 players. I know some of these guys, but not all of them. But this is how the standings went. After Swiss, we had Marcus Hayden. He was undefeated, I think, until top 4 when he lost to Eric Shen. Now, Marcus Hayden's a great player. He's got a YCS win. And I've been told he also won an ARG. So congrats to him. Terry Miller Jr., I believe this is the GB guy. He got 2nd place. Daniel Dustin Rose. I think he won the Ultimate Time Wizard in Niagara. So I guess it's 2nd top for him. I don't know him that well, but I know he's a former Ultimate Time Wizard winner. And 4th was Eric Shen, who ended up winning the whole thing. Congrats to him. Officially, I think he's the Edison GOAT. At least in real life. Because, 2 Ultimate Time Wizard wins and an RBT win. Yeah, it's hard. No one comes close to him, in my opinion. So congrats to him. And then Aaron, I don't know him, but I know he played my friend Randy at Austin, and he was playing GBs, so I don't know what deck he was playing this time. And then we have Samuel Charles Lawrence. Don't know him. Now, I know Marcus Carice was playing the Gigabytes deck, and there was 2 Gigabytes decks in top 8. It was crazy. Marcus actually lost round 1 and fought back all the way to top 8. I believe they both lost in top 8. One thing I want to mention about the Gigabytes deck, I was actually talking to a lot of people because I played against it online. That turn 1 board, like if they go first, I think it's a really good deck if it goes first. And they make that turn 1 board with Titanium, Gigaplant with Supervise, and Power Tool. What deck can break that board? It's like impossible. Even if you do break it, they have the Mark of the Rose for the follow-up. This is tough. And 8th was Sean Terrell Banks. I know, I've met him a few times. He's playing Machina. Congrats to him. I know 3 of these guys were from Chicago, so they're just dominating Edison. So yeah, there we go. So first was, I know first was Eric. 2nd was the GB guy, and Marcus was 3rd. I don't know who got 4th. Yeah, I'm not sure, but that's just it. I don't know what. Again, it was like 1 Vayu, 1 Blackwing, 1 GB, 2 Gigabytes, 1 Machina. I think there was a Light Swarm player, and I don't remember what the other guy was playing. I didn't keep too much track because, like, day 2, I played in the Giant card. I'm also going to go over that in a second. I know Vayu Turbo won the Giant card. I actually know the top 4 for the Giant card, Attack of the Giant card. The top 4 for the Attack of the Giant card was 2 GBs. And the finals was Vayu versus X-Sabers. Vayu won the Attack of the Giant card. X-Sabers got 2nd. And the guy who got 2nd with X-Sabers actually played him day 1 of the main event. We'll get to that soon, so. He didn't do too on the main event, but then he, sometimes you pick yourself up the next day, and he made all the way to the finals. He got a mini Strato, so congrats to him. And then the 2 GB players. I made top 8 at the Giant card. I lost to the GB player who got 4th. And yeah, we'll get there in a second. And then the other GB player who got 3rd was Andres Torres, who was a multiple-time YCS winner, a UDS winner. I was shocked to see him play. He did pretty well in the main event. He didn't top, but he did decent with GBs. I'm just shocked because I've always considered him a modern Yu-Gi-Oh player, and seeing him play in both the Ultimate Time Wizard and main event Attack of the Giant cards. So you see the growth of Edison. If people don't want to play modern Yu-Gi-Oh, they're kind of like, you know what? And I'm going to go play Time Wizard. All right, so now let's go to, now that we got that out of the way, I guess we'll go look at my deck list. So I chose to play Blackwings for this event. This is only the second time I've played Blackwings at a major event, so that's why, I didn't do too well with it at RBET New York, and I decided to give it another shot here at Orlando. And I'm just going over the deck list real quick. So it's a pretty standard list. If you look at the monsters, 3 Blizzard, 3 Bora, 1 Gale, 3 Kalut, 3 Shura, 3 Sirocco, 1 Vayu, 1 Darkrai. And I was playing Gores, but I cut it. Do I regret cutting it? I don't know. I don't think really, Gores was not, maybe it would have helped. Anyway, let's go to the spells. Allure, 2 Black Whirlwind, 1 Book of Moon, Brain Control, Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon, 3 Upstart Goblin. Book of Moon was, I don't know. Book's okay. But I could see myself cutting it. Maybe that could have been the Gores. And then I ran 2 Bottomless, 2 Dimensional Prison, 3 Icarus, 3 Jar, Mirror Force Omja. So I actually cut Torrential. Torrential and Gores were the 2 cards I cut last second. And some of you guys maybe watched me play online, saw me trying out Reckless Greed, but I didn't like Reckless Greed in this deck. So I decided to just go with Jar of Greed. It's a little more because I feel with this deck, some of the weaknesses that I've noticed with this deck is you got to see, even if you don't see Whirlwind, sometimes you draw dead Blizzards, or you just draw Boras. You got to see Shura. So I just want to be able to see those cards. It's kind of one of the reasons why, since I'm playing 3 Jar, I want to see cards that out-establish boards. That's why I went with 3 Icarus, 2 Deep Prisons, Mirror Force, and Book of Moon Brain Control. That was kind of the thought process. Gores could have been good, but I just, you got to make sacrifices when you're deck building. So Torrential and Gores were the cards that were cut. Maybe we can replace it, because at first I was running 1 Deep Prison. So yeah, that's just the main deck. Those were the only 2 cards I cut, was Gores and Torrential. Maybe I could have put them back in. It would have helped. Because obviously I did not do well in the main event. I did make top 8 in the Giant card, but I used a different deck. And we'll get to there in a second. So now let's go to this extra deck. Extra deck's a standard Blackwing extra deck. Thought Ruler, Stardust, Android, Goyo, Dark, and Colossal. Chimera Tech, Brio, 2 Armor Master, 2 Armed Wing, Silver Wind, Black Rose, Catastor. Side deck, 2 Oppression. I don't like Oppression in the main deck in Blackwings. I prefer it in Vayu, but not in Black. 1 Dust Shoot. I've done this a lot. I tend to like Dust Shoot in the side deck. I don't like it that much in the main deck. I know it's a card that wins games. I actually lost to Dust Shoot, and we'll go over that in a sec. All right. To My Body, I like it in the mirror match. Mind Control for Raikou Hamster decks. Chalice, this is for Consecrated Light. Now, people say Fissure is better, but I know, Lightsworn players like to side My Body. And I can also use Chalice if they don't have Consecrated. I can use Chalice to stop anything. I can stop a Lila if I'm trying to protect Oppression or something. I can stop Lumina. I can stop JD. So that's why they're both okay, but I just went with Chalice. 2 Dust, 1 Dark Illusion. This card I kind of just threw it in last second. I haven't really tested it much, but everyone that I talked to says it's good. All right, 2 DD Crow. And this is mostly for Vayu. And 2 Cyber Dragon. This is mostly just for Consecrated Light because I need outs. If you see here, I have 2 Cyber Dragon, 2 Chalice. Those are my 4 outs to Consecrated Light. All right. Now that we're done with there, let's go over the tournament report. And we'll start with the main event. Now, as far as, I'm not going to share, I played Machina Quick Draw for the Attack of the Giant card, and I'm not going to share that list because I'm still working on it. I may play it at a future event. Who knows? We got RBTLA coming up. We got YCS Vegas, YCS Houston, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do at YCS Houston yet. We'll see. All right. So let's go to the tournament report. So round one. Oh, one thing. One thing I forgot to mention. I don't know what happened this weekend, but I played 7 rounds in the main event, and I played what is it, 4 rounds? 1, 2, 3. So I played 11 rounds this weekend, and I won every single dice roll. I went 11-0 in dice rolls. That's never happened to me. Even when I got second place at Indy last year, I lost like almost every single die roll. So maybe winning the die roll was just bad luck. Anyways, we'll start with round one. I got paired against Corey Patrick Lilly playing Lightsworn. I 2-0'd him. Game one was just rough. I opened Whirlwind, Dark Arm, so, you know. And then game two, like, my hand was just super aggressive, and I just went with Dark Arm. Like, I remember, he set to Raikou turn, and I just went, like, Sirocco, Bora Bora pump, and it was a pretty quick 2-0. Game two, I just drew all monsters, and his hand was really slow. Actually, I don't think he set Raikou. I actually think he set Hamster, but I, like, made a Stardust. Yeah, I, like, made a Star. I can't remember exactly what happened. I just know my hand was just gas, and his hand was slow. So I won, and after round one, I felt good. I'm like, my deck drew well both games, and I cooked Lightsworn, which is kind of a bad matchup for Blackwings. So that was round one. Round two, I went up against Doug playing Norlaris, and game one I drew okay, but his hand was just like insane. Like, he had Burial, he just went off on me, and my hand was okay. I just couldn't fight out of it. And then game two, I just went with Whirlwind Solemn, and yeah. And then game three, this was actually a pretty crazy game. So the Ultimate Time Wizard, they usually put us in the back. But this time at Orlando, they put us right next to where the VIP area for the main event is. So obviously, a couple of my friends are UDS winners, like Cam. He's a good friend of mine, and Dennis, and they were watching me play game three. But they were watching my opponent, because my opponent was sitting next to the crowd. I was sitting on the other side, and they were watching. And like, from what they told me, because they saw his hand, that he just kept ripping it. Like, game three, he goes first. He Norlarises me, which is rough. Norlarises me turn one, so I'm finding out. Now, one thing that I thought I was okay. This is my luck's on my side. So after he Norlarised me, I drew into Dark Arm with exactly 3 darks in my grave. So I'm like, okay, special Dark Arm. So I hit him for 28. Then he passes, and then I hit him again for another 28. But then he Norlarises me after that. He Norlarises me again to get rid of my Dark Arm. So then we're both top decking once again. But he's always ahead. And they told me he just kept ripping it. He ripped Burial, and he kept ripping Greffer, and it was just rough, and I was drawing the worst cards. Now, one thing I will say is maybe I've never really played against Norlaris. It's not a deck that I've played online. It's not a deck I've played against in person. But one thing that I think maybe cost me this game was side decking. I kind of focused on stopping him from Norlarising me. I should have just been like, you know what? I just accept that you're going to get Norlaris and just and side cards that are good, to draw into. Like, I sided in 2 chalices because my game plan was like, I'm going to stop him from Norlarising me. And I think I drew both my chalices, and it kind of hurt. Maybe I should have just been like, you know what? Screw it. If he's going to Norlaris me, and I should just not side that way. But again, he did keep reaping, and I have witnesses. My Dennis and Cam were watching, and a few others. They're telling me, yeah, that guy, every card he drew after he Norlarised you was insane. And so, but it's fine. I don't care. I have to go X1 anyway. So losing early to me is no big deal in these Ultimate Time Wizard tournaments, because you have to go X1. It's different when you have to go X2 and you lose early, and then it comes down to tiebreakers. But this is whatever. I'll lose early, and I still have to win out. So round 3. I don't really remember this night. I know his name was Jorge. And again, I won all the die rolls. He's playing Diva Hero. And I think game 1 or one of the games, I just remember my hand was Blizzard, Dark Arm. Those are the only 2 monsters I had. And he opened Dust Shoot. Dust Shooted my Dark Arm. And the rest of my cards were trap cards, and I just couldn't really fight out of it. And he brain controlled me. And he did draw Future Fusion both games. That doesn't help. Miracle. And then game 2, he heavy stormed me. And it was just rough. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty bad. I got 2-0'd, and I'm out now. I'm 1-2, and I still kept playing though. Was it this again? These were like you see my first 3 rounds. Like these were 3 decks that I was not anticipating. Well, Lightsworn I was, because like whenever I built my side deck, like I prepared for a multitude of decks. I was prepared for Blackwings, Vayu Frogs. I considered GBs. I considered Lightsworn. I considered Machines, Zombies. Those were kind of the decks I was expecting. But like Norleras and Demon Hero B is another deck. I was like, okay, people are gonna play this deck, but Demon Hero and Norleras are not 2 decks that I was really anticipating going up against. But that's what happens when you lose early. Like I lost round 2, so I got paired against the Diva Hero deck. That's just what it is. All right, and I kept playing after this because I didn't have anything else to do, so I'll go over what happened here. So round 4, I'm playing against Milton, playing like a Secret Village Spellcaster deck. I think this was his first Edison tournament. He said he normally plays Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, he's playing a Secret Village Spellcaster deck, and I think it's a bad matchup for him because Icarus just outs all his stuff. So yeah, it was a swift 2-0. And then round 5, I played against a Machina Turbo player, and he was like on one of those. He was on one of those teams. There's just a bunch of guys wearing these like Team Peach shirts, and yeah, it was 2-1. It was rough. I just drew really well against him. He actually came back game 2. I think with like just pot avarice. I actually was winning game 2, and he kind of pulled it out. I don't even remember how. I thought I was going to 2-0 him, but he was able to sneak away with a win game 2. And then, but the first game 1 and game 3 weren't close. All right, so I'm 3-2 now. Again, I'm playing for nothing because X2s aren't getting in. Actually, one X2 did make it, but you have to lose late. Like the guy who's got 8th at X2, I think he lost the last 2 rounds, or he lost like really late. All right, so round 6, I go up against another Chicago guy, Kevin Wu. Again, I won the die roll, and game 2 he opened double whirlwind, so and I did, it's tough. And I could tell these Chicago guys, they're really experienced in the Blackwing Mirror match. So I've occasionally played the Blackwing Mirror, but he's probably way more experienced with it. But like the double whirlwind, and I think he drew Dark Arm. I'm pretty sure he drew Dark Arm both games. I can't remember, but I know he opened double whirlwind game 1, and I just lost. And then there was one situation that came up where, like, I'm fine from behind, and I go Sirocco, but I had to make the read on what his back row was. Was it a D Prison? Was it an Icarus? And I think one Icarus was gone, and I decided to go for the Sirocco. Like, I either go Sirocco Pump. I think this was game 1, and I get blown out by a D Prison. I lose to D Prison. Or I special summon my Arm Wing and try to run over both his monsters in case his back was a D Prison, but it was a second Icarus, and I lost. And game 2, I lost to Dark Arm, then like Dark Illusion. Yeah, I remember he got me with Dark Illusion, but he played well. I know he's won one of the monthlies in Chicago, so we'll see. I'm probably going to see him down the road because a lot of these guys travel to these Ultimate Time Winners / RBT, so we'll see how he does in the future. All right, so now I'm It's round 6. I'm 3-3. I played the last round because it was 7 rounds day 1, so I was like, I might as well. What else am I going to do? There was no more pods, so it's kind of like I'm just going to go play the last round, which I played against Morgan, the X-Saber guy who made the finals in the Attack of the Giant card. So congrats to him. He shake it off. Now I did 2-0 him, and it's just Icarus is just like me. I played X-Sabers for a long time, so I know how to play against the deck. Especially you don't have Dark Soul now. So like my game plan is just to Icarus all their cards, like their Ember's Blades and stuff like that. And I don't really remember the match. I just know I just Icarus went in, and yeah, that's about it. But yeah, I finished the day 4-3 with Blackwings. And do I regret playing Blackwings? You guys have been watching the channel. I've been playing Blackwings the past like month or so. I've actually been playing all 3 decks, but I felt good with Blackwings. Sometimes the deck can be a little bricky, but I think with this deck, like I could see myself playing it again down the road. I just didn't draw too well in some of my matches. Like I feel like I got really unlucky round 2, and round 3 I just drew bad. That's just against the Diva Hero player, and I think the dust shoot didn't help. But yeah, I don't think the deck's bad. It's just sometimes the cards just don't go your way. All right, so that was the end of the main event. So now we'll go over what happened at the Attack of the Giant card. We had 66 players. I think for Anaheim, we had way more players for the Attack of the Giant card, but I think the reason we didn't get as many people for the Attack of the Giant card at Orlando, one reason, there's two big reasons. Since the main event had 2,200 players, a lot of people made day two because all the X2s had a chance to make it at Orlando, right? So a lot of the modern players did not enter. Also, they started on time at Orlando, unlike at Anaheim, where they started the Attack of the Giant card really late. And also, a lot of the people from the main event, the Ultimate Time Wizards, were still playing it out for day two. So I think that's why we only got 66 players. Now, round one was weird. Like, almost every, since it's a single elimination tournament, only like almost everyone got the bye. Round one, except like 6 players. And it was hilarious. But yeah, round one, I got the bye. Like, almost everyone got the bye. Round two, again, I won all the die rolls, even in the Attack of the Giant card. And I go up against Ernie Aranda, another Ultimate Time Wizard winner, playing his signature Bayou Turbo deck. I think he won the Ultimate Time Wizard right after I did. First time I played him. And I'm playing my Machina Quick Draw deck. And game one, I opened Double Reckless. And just, I don't know, I think Bayou sometimes struggles against Machina. So I don't really remember this match that well. I just remember game one, I opened Double Reckless. And then game two, I actually thought I was going to win. I remember he goes, set Raikou, pass. I opened triple Reckless game two, set all 3 Reckless, pass. He flips his Raikou, targets one of my Reckless, I chain, draw 2. Then he summons Armageddon Knight. I can't remember what he sent, either Necro or Plague, whatever. And attacks me with Raikou, attacks me with Armageddon. I chain the 2 Recklesses. I'm drawing 6 cards, and I drop Gores on him. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Then I summon Gear Frame and just wipe his board. And then I decide to play it safe. I drop Fortress and equip Gear Frame. I could have gone really aggressive. I think he had a back row. I can't remember what it was. And then I forgot what he does, but he like special summons Dark Armed and Brain Control is my Fortress, and then attacks me for game. So I thought I was gonna win game 2, but Brain Control, Dark Armed, what can you do to that, right? All right, so that was game, and it's my Gorge is gone, so he's not afraid of anything. All right, so we go to game 3, and game 3 was tough, but like I made the early read that his back row was oppression, because he goes first turn Greffer, Armed Wing, and summons the Armed Wing. So I'm thinking, oh, he has deck dev, but then I summon a monster. Like, he can't stop any of my plays. He can't stop my summons, can't stop my attacks, doesn't deck dev me. So I'm thinking, okay, his back row is return. It has to be return or burial because he's not doing anything. So the whole game I have like Solemn, and I'm like, I have to be careful because I don't want to lose to return. And I also drew Double Reckless this game also. And it comes down to where I have a Druid Warrior and he oppresses my Druid Warrior. And I'm forced to Solemn. But I know his last card is Oppression that he tributes for Caius. So I remember I'm trying to go for game. So I know I have the read that his back row is Oppression. And I have a Druid Warrior coming back, right? So then I go Quick Draw. I think Quick Draw, Dandy, Synchro for Junk Archer, banishes Caius. Now, this is actually didn't know the way this works. So if you Junk Archer a Caius, so I Junk Archer his Caius. If he returns it, he's not going to get it back because it forgets. I just didn't know the way it worked. So, I Junk Archer his Caius. And this is game. He's at 47. He's at 45. So he has to return just to stay alive, but it doesn't matter. He has no cards after that. And he's not going to get his Caius back. So then I easily win. So great match. He played well. I think there was only one. I don't know. I kind of just threw this deck. I need to practice more with this deck for sure. I'm still working. That's why I'm not sharing the list, because I'm working on a lot of details with the deck. But he knows his deck really well. Obviously, he's top 2 Ultimate Time Wizards with it. That I know. Maybe he's done stuff online. I don't keep up with the online stuff. I keep up with all the Ultimate Time Wizards. Even RBTs. There's some RBTs that I don't keep up with because it's top 16. So, that was round 2. And then round 3, I'm going up against a Twilight Lightsworn deck. I win game 1 and game 2. Now, one thing I want to mention that happened game 3, it was kind of a weird situation. It was that third game was really close. So I'm I keep checking his graveyard, right? trying to manipulate his graveyard with Kaiku, and I had 2 crows in my hand. So one thing that happened was I have Kaiku, I think a Gores, and a token. He has three Light Sworns in his graveyard, and I have 2 crows in my hand. He has a Plague in the graveyard. He goes top for Plague. I crow him because I have a second crow. I know he only has 3 Light Sworns, and he's really low on cards. And he's like, okay. Then he goes Lightning Vortex, discards his, I think, one of his last cards, which is the 4th name. And I throw all my monsters into the graveyard. Now, luckily, the judge was standing right behind me watching our match. And then right away, he slams down the JD. And I remember, and I even, like, every time I'm checking his ground, I'm telling him, how many Light Sworns do you have? But he didn't give me time to respond at res on the Lightning Vortex. If I knew he had 4 Light Sworns, I only lose to JD. Even though I was like at 35, I would have 100% crowed him if that gave him his last Light Sworn because I just lose the game. And, you know, sometimes you got to give, me personally, I always, that's why you got to be, like, careful when you do stuff like that. And when I have Dark Arm, I usually ask my opponent anything, and then I slam down the Dark Arm. Or I even do it with Machine and Fortress, but he didn't. He just goes Lightning Vortex, I threw everything in the graveyard, slams down to J. Luckily, the judge was watching, and he told him. We both got a minor warning because, I don't know. I don't think I deserved the warning, but it's whatever. The judge ruled in my favor, so he allowed me to crow him before he summoned the JD, and then he was like at 2,000, I summoned Debris Dragon, make Iron Chain, attacked him for game. So, that was it. And round 4, I play against Blackwings, and I lose game 1, double whirlwind. And I think Blackwings can be a rough matchup because of, you know, Dandelion just eats tokens. But game 2 was a really close game, and I think the only reason I won was because eventually I drew into a Consecrated Light, because it was a pretty back and forth grindy game. And I summoned Consecrated Light, and after that I just slowly came back and won, just because he couldn't summon his monsters. And like I grinded through all his back rows, and then then game 3, we had a really long match, and we went into time, but I was going to win anyway. I remember I didn't want to win in time, but eventually, I remember I recklessed him. Towards the end, I saw my next cards. I was like, oh, okay, you're losing anyway, even if we weren't in time. So, but game 3, I just won just through grinding. He didn't see Black Whirlwind. He didn't see Dark Armed. And he kind of didn't see. He didn't see much. I think he just drew one of those Blackwing hands with too many monsters. And like D Prisoners, Mirror Force Torrential. But he didn't see like the power cards like Icarus. He didn't see any Icarus that I can think of. Because like I was playing around Icarus like the entire game. So that was round 4. And then I got to the top 8. Yeah, I got the top 8 of the Attack of the Giant card. So I just need to win one. And I'm looking at the rest of the bracket. And what's crazy, the quarterfinals was stacked. In the quarterfinals of the Giant card was myself, Fraser Smith, James Ark, and Andres Torres. We're all in the top 8 and a few other guys. And there was 2 GB players, the X-Saber player, and another Vayu player. If I would have won, I think I would have faced a Vayu player, and I feel pretty confident against Vayu. If I could just get through GBs, maybe I would have won the whole thing. Not to brag, but I'm like, could I have maybe the X-Saber player would have given me a little bit of problems in the finals. I don't know the X-Saber matchup with this Machina Quick Draw deck. Maybe. I don't know how that matchup would have played out, but I feel pretty confident against Vayu with Machina, so maybe I would have got to the finals. I would have got a Stratos, but GBs is a rough matchup. And I actually won game 1 because I saw two gear frames. But one thing that did happen that I want to mention is, so he goes Bestiari. He targets my Solemn. I'm like, okay, I'm a chain bottomless, but I had thrown my Solemn to the graveyard. Now that's my fault. I should have just waited. And he goes chain book. And I go, chain Solemn. I'm like, but he's like, oh, you threw it in the graveyard already. I'm like, well, the Solemn is still there. The chain hasn't fully resolved yet. And I think my opponent got on tilt. I don't know why. It's like, I guess because he lost game 1. I mean, you're heavily favored, but I did end up winning that match thanks to, I'm not saying that Solemn play won me the game. Well, yeah, because he lost his Bestiari, but he was trying to shark me, I guess. But the judge ruled in my favor. We both got a warning. And then the rest of the match, I'm worried. Like, I already got 2 warnings because I got a warning earlier against the Lightstorm player. I just got a second warning. But then game 2 and 3, like, I had to I sided out, like, my quick draw stuff. I just, again, I haven't played this deck much. I've played it online a little bit, and I wasn't really prepared for GBs. And he came back and Legacy 2-0'd me. Game 2, he like trap dust shooted my only monster, which was Sangan. I think that was game 2. And I think one thing that happened was I actually talked to two great players about this play. I talked to Maxwell Tepper and Gary Yu, two RBT winners, especially Max because he plays GBs. He won with GBs. I think game 2, I could have just heavy stormed his 4 back rows, but I did see Starlight Road game 1 because he resolved Starlight Road against me game 1. But I think from now on against GBs, I'm just going to slam down the heavy. But the issue is I had no plays. I think that was a game where he trapped dust shoot my Sangan. I can't remember whether I had the Lone Fire game 3 or game 2 because my memory's fuzzy. But yeah, I think from now on against GBs, I'm just going to slam down the heavy. If they have the Starlight Road, they got it. Even Max and Gary told me to just go for it. So yeah, even if you have no plays, because he said since I was up game 1, they told me they recommended to just go for it. If it's game 2 and you're down a game, even if you know he runs Starlight Road, screw it. And yeah, I lost. He came back in Legacy 2-0'd me. It's a rough matchup. But I'm going to be more prepared for it because GBs are on the rise. Those 2 in top 4 of the Attacking the Giant card made the finals in the Ultimate Time Wizard. The deck is real. I was actually, with Blackwings, I was prepared for GBs. I was expecting to see GBs with Blackwings, but with the Machine and Quick Draw deck, I kind of just decided to play it in the Attack of the Giant card, so I wasn't as prepared for GBs there. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the tournament report. I will be attending RBETLA, YCS Vegas, YCS Houston. Now, I'm not sure. I'm going to play Time Wizard at Vegas and LA. I'm not sure about Houston. We'll see what happens in Houston. But I hope you guys enjoyed the tournament report. And yeah, stay tuned. Got some more tournament locals coming soon. And I want to thank everyone who I met at Orlando. You guys were all nice to me. Took a couple pictures, signed a Soul Charge, signed a few upstarts. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.